The sound of $500 hitting a marble floor isn't a crash. It's a chime. It sings. Sharp, expensive, and violent. It was the only sound in the room that mattered. Most people think the scariest thing in a room full of gangsters is a gun. They're wrong. The scariest thing is when the music keeps playing, but the people stop moving. That is when you know the air has left the room. That is when you know a line has been crossed. We are in the Onyx Lounge, VIP section. The kind of place where the air conditioning smells like cedar and old money. And down on the floor, on her knees, is Nia. Let me tell you about Nia. She isn't supposed to be the main character of this story. The world wants her to be background noise. She's wearing a faded black apron that's seen too many shifts. Her hair is pulled back tight, frizzy at the edges from the humidity of the kitchen. She has flour on her elbow and a tiredness in her bones that sleep doesn't fix. She is invisible. Until tonight. Standing over her is Jae-sung. He's young, wearing a suit that costs more than Nia's rent for the year. He's one of the boss's friends, and he didn't drop that glass of scotch by accident. He looked her dead in the eye, smiled like a shark, and opened his fingers. Why? Because she didn't pour it fast enough. Because he was bored. Because he could. Pick it up, he says. His voice is low, smooth. He points to the shards scattered on the white wool carpet. With your hands. You want to move slow? Let's see how careful you can be. If you've ever been invisible in a room like this, stay with me. Smash the subscribe button. The room goes dead quiet. The other men at the table look away. They know Jae-sung. They know his temper is a spoiled child's tantrum with lethal consequences. But they don't stop him. Nobody stops him. Except there is one man who is watching. Sitting in the deepest shadow of the booth is Min-jun. They call him the ghost for a reason. He doesn't speak, he doesn't drink, he just observes. He is the man everyone is actually afraid of, the heavy gravity in the corner of the room. He hasn't moved a muscle. He is watching Nia. He isn't saving her. Not yet. He wants to see what she's made of. He wants to see if she breaks before the glass does. Nia looks down at the mess. Sharp, jagged crystal against pristine white wool. She knows the rules. If she speaks back, she loses her job. If she cries, she loses her dignity. If she walks away, she might lose her life. So she reaches out. Her hands are rough, worker's hands. No manicure, just short, clean nails. She picks up a large shard. The light catches the edge. Jae-sung leans in, grinning. He's waiting for the beg. He's waiting for the, "I'm sorry, sir." He wants to see her small. Nia picks up another piece, and then it happens. A jagged edge slices into the soft flesh of her palm. It's deep. She doesn't gasp. She doesn't flinch, but a single drop of blood wells up, bright, crimson red. It falls. It hits the white carpet like a bomb. The contrast is blinding. That red on that white. It's the loudest thing in the room. The smell of expensive cologne is thick in the air, trying to mask the scent of cruelty, but that drop of blood cuts through it all. It smells like iron. It smells like truth. Nia stops. She looks at the blood. Then she looks up. She locks eyes with Jae-sung. And in that second, something in the air shifts. The fear evaporates. The exhaustion vanishes. Replaced by a cold, hard steel, she stands up. Slowly. She doesn't wipe the blood. She lets it bleed. She isn't the servant anymore. She is the judge. Jae-sung blinks. He wasn't expecting her to stand. He was expecting tears. He steps back, just an inch. "I didn't tell you to stop," he stammers. Nia doesn't say a word. She reaches behind her back and unties the apron strings. The knot comes loose. She pulls the fabric over her head. the symbol of her service, the thing that made her invisible. She holds it out over the shattered glass and the blood stain, and she drops it. It lands softly, covering the mess, covering the shame. She turns her back on him. She turns her back on the VIP section, on the money, on the fear. She walks toward the exit. Her spine is straight. Her head is high. She is walking out mid-shift, mid-humiliation. She is walking away from the only paycheck she has, because her soul costs more than minimum wage. The silence in the room is heavy now. It's choking. Jae-sung laughs. It's a nervous, wet sound. Crazy bitch, he mutters, trying to reclaim the power he just lost. Whatever. Get someone else to clean this up. But nobody moves. Because something else is happening. From the shadows, the ghost moves. Min-jun stands up. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't shout. He just pushes his chair back. The sound of his wooden chair, dragging against the marble floor, screeches. It is louder than a gunshot. It echoes off the walls. It creates a vibration that hits everyone in the chest. Jae-sung's laugh dies in his throat. He freezes. The blood drains from his face. Min-jun steps into the light. He isn't looking at the door where Nia left. He is looking at Jae-sung. And for the first time all night, the air in the room turns from cold to freezing. If you've ever felt like you were screaming in a room full of people who refused to hear you, if you've ever had to swallow your pride just to survive, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Because Nia just started a war she doesn't even know about yet, and you need to see how she finishes it. Min-jun adjusts his cuffs. He walks past the table. He walks past the trembling Jae-sung without even looking at him. He walks toward the door, toward her. The game has changed. The waitress isn't a waitress anymore. And the boss? He just found the only thing in the city he can't buy. The glass is broken. But the real damage? That's just getting started. The heavy steel door of the Onyx Lounge slams shut behind her. The sound is final. It cuts off the jazz, the laughter, and the warmth of the VIP section. Out here, in the alley, the world is loud and cold. The rain isn't a drizzle, it's a curtain. It soaks through her thin white uniform shirt in seconds, plastering the fabric to her skin, chilling the sweat that had gathered at the back of her neck. Nia doesn't run. She leans back against the wet bricks and exhales. Her breath creates a small cloud that disappears instantly. She looks at her hand. The blood has stopped flowing, but the cut is angry and red, a jagged line across her palm. It throbs in time with her heartbeat, but the pain isn't what scares her. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out her phone. The screen is cracked, a spiderweb of glass over the light. She taps the banking app. It loads slowly, circling and circling, just like her thoughts. $42.18. That is the sum total of her life right now. The math hits her harder than the rain. Rent is due tomorrow, $1,600. Her sister's insulin needs a refill on Thursday, $400. She just walked out on the tips that were supposed to keep the lights on. Walking out wasn't just brave, it was financial suicide. A logical person would turn around, go back inside, get on their knees, and beg for the job back. A logical person would apologize to the man who threw glass at her. But Nia touches the silver locket around her neck. It's cheap metal, tarnished at the edges, holding a picture of her grandmother, a woman who cleaned floors for 50 years so Nia wouldn't have to crawl. Nia grips that locket tight. She can be broke, she can be hungry, but she cannot be small. She pushes off the wall. She starts walking. The alley is dark, the only light coming from the street lamps reflecting in the puddles. She keeps her head down, dodging trash bags and broken crates. Then, the light changes. Twin beams cut through the rain. Bright, blue-white. They aren't the yellow, dim lights of a taxi. They catch her shadow and stretch it long against the brick wall. A car, is crawling up the alley behind her. The engine is barely a whisper, a low purr of contained power. Nia stiffens. She keeps walking. She knows better than to run. In this neighborhood, running makes you pray. The car pulls up alongside her and matches her pace. It's a Genesis G90, black on black, the kind of car that doesn't have license plates because it doesn't need them. The tires crunch over the wet gravel. It's not the police. It's not an Uber. It's a predator. The rear window rolls down. If you have ever stood your ground when every survival instinct in your body was screaming at you to run, if you have ever chosen your pride over your paycheck, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are building a community here for the ones who don't fold, and you are going to want to see where this road leads. Nia stops. She turns her head. The interior of the car is dark, but she can see him. Min-jun, the ghost. He is sitting deep in the leather seat. He isn't looking at her face. He is looking at her hand, the one hanging by her side, the one with the dried blood. He looks calm, detached, like he's watching a stock ticker, not a woman standing in the rain. He doesn't ask her to get in. He doesn't ask if she's okay. "You bled on my carpet," he says. His voice is low. It carries over the sound of the rain without him having to raise it. It's a statement of fact, devoid of emotion. "That carpet cost $15,000. Nia stares at him. The rain drips from her nose. Her hair is matted to her forehead. She looks like a drowned rat standing next to a shark. But she doesn't shiver. She looks him dead in the eye. "Send me the bill," she says. Her voice is steady. "I'll pay it in hell." She doesn't wait for a response. She turns her head forward and keeps walking. Step, step, step. She expects a gunshot. She expects a door to open and a hand to grab her. But nothing happens. Inside the car, the window rolls up. Min-jun watches her go. He watches the way she holds her shoulders. He watches the straight line of her back. He has met generals, politicians, and killers who crumbled under his gaze. He has seen men beg for their lives over less money than that carpet cost. But this waitress, with $42 to her name, she just told him to go to hell. He taps the driver's headrest. "Follow her," he says. "Do not approach. Just watch." The car creeps forward. This is the moment. This is the hook. He doesn't want her because she's beautiful, though she is. He wants her because she is a variable he cannot solve. He is a man who owns everything he sees. And for the first time in his life, he has found someone that is not for sale. Nia keeps walking. The cold rain mixing with the hot tears she finally lets fall. She thinks she just ruined her life. She thinks she just made an enemy. She doesn't know she just auditioned for the role of a lifetime. And she got the part. Now, let's hit the pause button for a second. Let's freeze the frame right here. You need to understand the weight of what just happened in that alleyway because it is the foundation of everything that is about to go down. Look at the math. Most people in Nia's position, with a sick sister and a bank account flashing red, they get in the car, they apologize, they swallow that glass shard, and they say thank you for the opportunity. They choose survival. And nobody would blame them. Survival is ugly. But Nia? She looked at safety, she looked at a warm leather seat and a powerful man, and she chose the rain. She chose starvation over disrespect. That is a dangerous level of self-worth. That is the kind of pride that gets you killed, or it gets you worshipped. There is no middle ground. And Min-jun? That man owns the skyline. He buys politicians like they are groceries. He is used to people shrinking. He is used to people having a price tag. But he just found the one thing in this entire city that does not have a barcode. He is confused, he is intrigued, and most importantly, he is hungry for it. He doesn't want to date her. He wants to figure out why she didn't fold. This isn't just a romance. This is a power struggle. It is a collision. If you can feel that tension tightening in your chest, if you are tired of weak stories and you want to see how he tries to break her or how she ends up bringing him to his knees, go ahead and smash that subscribe button right now. Join the family. Claim your seat. Because the chase is officially on, and you do not want to miss what happens when the predator realizes he might have just fallen in love with the prey. The rain is cold, but the heat is just starting to rise. Let's get back to it. Morning doesn't break gently when you're poor. It crashes. Nia wakes up to the sound of a staple gun hitting wood. Thwack, thwack. She pulls the thin sheet off her body and walks to the front door. She opens it, just a crack. There it is, bright orange. The color of emergency. An eviction notice. Final notice. Vacate in 72 hours. She stares at the paper. She doesn't cry. You stop crying over rent notices when you're 12. Instead, she does the math. She needs $1,600 by Friday. She has $42. She has no job. She has a diabetic sister relying on her. The walls of her apartment seem to lean in. The wallpaper is peeling in the corners, revealing the gray drywall underneath, like a wound that won't heal. The air smells like old cooking oil and damp plaster. This is her reality. It is small, it is loud, and it is drowning her. Then there is a knock. It isn't the landlord. The landlord bangs with a fist. This knock is precise. 3 sharp raps, knuckle against wood, controlled. Nia opens the door. Standing in her hallway, surrounded by the smell of trash and desperation, is Kenji. He is Min-jun's right hand. He is wearing a charcoal suit that fits him like a second skin. He looks like he just stepped out of a magazine, but his eyes are dead. They are flat, black sharks. He doesn't say hello. He holds out a manila folder. "May I come in?" He doesn't wait for an answer. He steps past her. The room suddenly feels smaller. He places the folder on her scarred kitchen table. He opens it. "Sit," he says. Nia remains standing. "I don't have any money for you." Kenji looks at her. He adjusts his glasses. "We know. That is why we are here." He slides a piece of paper across the table. It's not a bill. It's a ledger. A list. Student loans, $32,000. Unpaid rent, $4,000, including late fees. Medical debt for one Maya Williams, $6,000. Nia's breath catches. "Leave my sister out of this." Kenji ignores her. He slides a second paper. This one is old, yellowed. Gambling debt, incurred by Marcus Williams, your father, 4 years ago. Nia freezes. Her father disappeared 4 years ago. She thought he ran away. $150,000. Kenji reads the number like he's ordering lunch. With interest, the total is nearly $200,000. The boss bought the debt this morning. He owns the building. He owns the loan shark your father borrowed from. He owns the hospital billing department. Kenji looks up. Technically, Miss Williams, he owns you. The room spins. The peeling wallpaper blurs. This isn't just poverty anymore. This is bondage. My father left, she whispers. Your father is in a holding cell 2 towns over. Kenji says smoothly. He was found. Convenient. The boss is willing to press charges. Fraud. Theft. He will die in prison. Or he slides a third document across the table. A contract. You work it off. Nia looks at the paper. The header is embossed. Hanel Holdings. Doing what? Her voice shakes. I'm a waitress. I don't do that kind of work. Kenji almost smiles. It's a terrifying expression. Not that kind of work. The boss values privacy above pleasure. He needs a night archivist. A what? He has a library. A private collection. Documents. Artifacts. Ledgers. It needs organizing. You work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. You speak to no one. You see no one. You organize the history of the family. You live on the estate. Room and board are deducted from the principal. Nia looks at the contract. It's a cage. A golden cage, but a cage. If she signs, she is trapped in the house of the man she humiliated last night. If she refuses, her father goes to prison and her sister loses her medicine. It's not a choice. It's a checkmate. She picks up the cheap plastic pen from the table. Her hand trembles, just once. Then she steadies it. She thinks of the glass she shattered. She thinks of the blood on the carpet. She signs her name, Nia Williams. Good. Kenji snaps the folder shut. Pack a bag. We leave in 10 minutes. The transition is jarring. 1 minute, she is in a rattling Toyota, watching the graffiti-covered storefronts of her neighborhood fade away. The next, the world goes green and silent. They drive up a winding road, high into the hills where the air is thin and clean. The gates open automatically, iron wrought into shapes of dragons and smoke. And then, the house. It isn't a home. It's a fortress, brutalist architecture. Raw concrete slabs stacked on top of each other, jutting out of the mountainside, massive walls of glass that reflect the gray sky. It looks cold. It looks impenetrable. Nia steps out of the car. The silence hits her first. In her neighborhood, there is always noise, sirens, shouting, music. Here, there is nothing. Just the wind in the pines and the hum of hidden security cameras. She looks up at the massive concrete structure. It feels like a mausoleum, a tomb for the living. The front door opens. It is 12 feet tall. Nia grips the strap of her duffel bag, the only thing she owns. She steps across the threshold. The floor is polished concrete. The air is conditioned to a perfect, sterile chill. She has entered the beast's belly. But this beast doesn't have teeth she can see. It has emptiness. And somewhere in this vast, silent concrete maze, Min-jun is waiting. She is the mouse. He is the snake. And the door just locked behind her. You know how it feels to be in a room full of people and still be the only one there? That's Nia's life now. The mansion operates like a clock. Servants glide over the polished floors. They polish silver, they dust frames, and they look right through her. To them, she is just another piece of furniture the master bought. She is the night archivist, a fancy title for a prisoner with a library card. She sleeps when the sun is up. She works when the house goes dark. She thinks she is alone. She isn't. High above the library, in a room walled with monitors, Min-jun is watching. He tells himself it's security. He tells himself he needs to make sure she doesn't steal the first editions or sell the family secrets. But that's a lie. He is watching because he has never seen anyone like her. He expects her to cry. He expects her to break things. Instead, she hums. It's a low sound, drifting through the speakers in his office. Old gospel songs. His eye is on the sparrow. Songs her grandmother used to sing while scrubbing other people's floors. It's a sound of endurance. It cuts through the sterile silence of his multi-million-dollar fortress. She moves through the stacks of books with a grace that doesn't belong in a warehouse. She treats the books with reverence. She reads the titles. She traces the spines. She is bringing life into his mausoleum, and he can't look away. It is 2 a.m. on a Tuesday when the rhythm breaks. Nia is in the sorting room. A shipment of rare manuscripts just arrived from Italy. The wooden crate is stubborn. She pries at the lid. The wood splinters. The box cutter slips. It happens fast. A sharp intake of breath. The tool clatters to the floor. Nia grips her hand. Another cut. Not as bad as the glass at the lounge, but deep enough to sting, deep enough to bleed. She doesn't call for help. She doesn't panic. She just sighs, the tired sigh of a woman who is used to hurting. She turns to go find a paper towel, but the library door opens. It isn't a servant. It isn't a guard. It's him. Min-jun walks in. He isn't wearing the jacket of his suit, just the white shirt, sleeves rolled up, top button undone. He looks less like a CEO and more like a man who hasn't slept in a decade. Nia freezes. She hides her hand behind her back. The instinct to shrink is strong. "Let me see," he says. "No hello, no pleasantries." "It's nothing," Nia says, backing up until she hits the heavy oak table. "Just a scratch. I'll clean it up so it doesn't stain the—" "I don't care about the floor," he cuts her off. He steps into her personal space. The air shifts. The smell of cedar and rain surrounds her. He reaches out. He doesn't grab her. He waits. He holds his hand out, palm up, a silent command. "Trust me." Slowly, reluctantly, Nia brings her hand forward. He takes it. The contrast is shocking. Her hand is warm, calloused, alive. His hand is cold, freezing, like marble, but his grip is gentle. He examines the cut with the precision of a surgeon. He doesn't look at her face. He looks at the wound. He pulls a small first aid kit from a drawer she didn't even know was there. He opens an antiseptic wipe. "This will sting," he warns. He cleans the cut. He applies a butterfly bandage. His movements are efficient, economic. He has done this before. He has patched up worse things than fingers. Nia watches him. She is close enough to see the gray in his hair, close enough to see the tension in his jaw. For the first time, she isn't terrified. She is confused. "You treat your body like it has no value," he says quietly, eyes still on the bandage. The words hang in the air. Heavy, Nia looks at her hand in his. "It's the only thing I own," she replies. Min-jun stops. His thumb brushes over her knuckles. Just for a second. A mistake? A test? It sends a jolt through the room that is stronger than electricity. He looks up. Their eyes meet, and in that silence, the dynamic flips. He sees the defiance in her. She sees something else. As he pulls his hand away, his shirt sleeve rides up. Just an inch, but Nia sees it. A scar. Jagged, ugly, twisting around his wrist like a bracelet of old pain. It's a knife wound. A defense wound. She realizes then he didn't get this house by signing checks. He fought for it. He bled for it. He isn't just a suit. He's a soldier. And he realizes she isn't just a victim he bought to settle a score. She's a survivor. He finishes the bandage. He steps back. The cold distance returns, but it's thinner now. "Be careful," he says. "I cannot have my archivists bleeding on the merchandise." It's a command, but his voice lacks the bite it had in the alley. He turns to leave, but he stops at the door. He takes off his suit jacket, which he had draped over a chair. He pauses. He looks at it. Then he leaves it there, on the chair. He walks out. Nia stands alone in the library. She touches the bandage. She looks at the jacket. She doesn't flinch when the door clicks shut. The fear is gone. It's been replaced by something much more dangerous. Curiosity. Why does a monster know how to heal a wound so gently? And why does she suddenly want to know how he got that scar? If you are hooked on this slow burn, if you are feeling that shift from fear to tension, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Because the walls of this fortress are starting to crack, and you need to be here when they finally come down. The air in the mansion changes when the sun goes down. During the day, the concrete walls reflect the light, making the place feel like a modern art museum, cold but bright. But at night, the house breathes. The shadows stretch out like oil spills across the floor. And tonight, the house is hungry. Min-jun is hosting a dinner party. Now, when you hear dinner party, You might think of polite conversation, clinking wine glasses, and warm laughter. Erase that image. In Min-jun's world, a dinner party is a shark tank. It is a room full of men who smile with their teeth showing. Men who sign death warrants with the same fountain pens they use to sign birthday cards. The guest list is short, 12 men, the heavy hitters of the underworld, the ones who move the cargo, the ones who bribe the judges, and the ones who make people disappear. And sitting right in the middle of them, loud and drunk on his own ego, is Jae-sung. You remember him, the man from the Onyx Lounge, the man who threw the crystal glass, the man who watched a woman bleed and laughed about it. He is wearing a velvet jacket tonight, looking comfortable, looking safe. He thinks he is just here to eat steak and drink Min-jun's $1,000 scotch. He doesn't know he is the main course. But here is where the story twists. This morning, the head of the housekeeping staff mysteriously called in sick, then the sous chef, then the lead server. A sudden flu swept through the staff quarters. We know it wasn't the flu. We know Min-jun cleared the board. He emptied the floor. He created a vacuum. Why? Because he needed a reason to bring Nia out of the shadows. Nia is standing in the service pantry. Her hands are shaking, just a little. She isn't wearing the faded apron from the lounge anymore. She is wearing the house uniform. Stiff black collar, white starch, impeccable. It fits her perfectly, but it still feels like a costume. It feels like target practice. Kenji handed her the silver tray 5 minutes ago. Just serve the drinks, he told her. Keep your eyes down. Do not speak unless spoken to. Nia takes a deep breath. She touches the bandage on her hand, the one Min-jun put there. It's her secret anchor. She pushes through the heavy double doors and steps into the lion's den. The dining room is massive. A long table made of single slab walnut dominates the space. The chandelier above is dimmed, casting a golden glow on the faces of the men. They are laughing, smoking cigars that smell like burnt leather and money. Nia moves like a ghost. She has practiced this. Invisibility is her superpower. She moves around the table, pouring water, placing napkins. She is efficient. She is graceful. Most of the men don't even look at her. To them, she is just a pair of hands holding a pitcher. She is furniture. She makes her way down the line. She is almost done. She just needs to get through this, get back to the library, and hide. Then, she reaches the empty glass at the center of the table. She steps forward to pour the wine. The bottle is heavy. She focuses on the red liquid swirling into the crystal. Well, well, well. The voice is slurry, wet. It slides over her skin like slime. Nia freezes. The bottle hovers. She knows that voice. It's the voice of her nightmares. Jae-sung turns in his chair. He looks up. His eyes are glassy with alcohol, but the recognition is sharp. He blinks, focusing on her face. A slow, cruel grin spreads across his face. I know you, he says. The table goes quiet. The conversation dies out, one by one, as the men turn to watch the show. Nia doesn't move. She stares at the tablecloth. Don't engage, she tells herself. Just pour the wine and leave. You're the girl from the lounge, Jae-sung announces to the room. He points a manicured finger at her. The clumsy one, the one who walked out. He laughs, looking around for validation. I thought you ended up on the street, but look at you. He reaches out. This is the moment. This is the violation. His hand hot, sweaty, heavy clamps onto her forearm, right over the sleeve of her uniform. He squeezes. It isn't a caress. It's a claim. It's a flex of power. The little waitress upgraded to a house pet. He sneers. Did Min-jun pick you up off the sidewalk? Does he make you do tricks? The insult hangs in the air. Gross. Heavy. Nia stops breathing. Her heart hammers against her ribs like a trapped bird. Every instinct in her body screams at her to run, to pull away, to smash the wine bottle over his head. But she can't. She is debt bonded. She is trapped. But look at her hands. She is holding a heavy silver tray in one hand and a bottle of vintage wine in the other. Jae-sung is jerking her arm. Most people would drop the tray. Most people would spill the wine. Nia doesn't drop a thing. Her knuckles turn white. She locks her muscles. She holds that tray perfectly still. She refuses to give him the satisfaction of a mess. She refuses to be the clumsy girl again. She stands like a statue of judgment. Slowly, she lifts her eyes. She doesn't look at Jae-sung. She looks past him. She looks at the head of the table. Min-jun is sitting there. He hasn't moved. He has a glass of whiskey in his hand, halfway to his mouth. He is watching. The room is silent now. Dead silent. The other men are uncomfortable. They know Min-jun. They know that look on his face. It's the look of a man who is calculating wind speed and distance before taking a shot. Jae-sung doesn't notice. He's too busy enjoying his little power trip. He tugs on Nia's arm again, harder this time. "I'm talking to you, girl. Look at me when I—" Clink. Min-jun sets his glass down. It's a soft sound, but in that silence, it sounds like a gavel hitting a judge's bench. Min-jun stands up. He moves differently tonight. In the library, he was gentle. In the car, he was cold. Tonight he is fluid. He flows around the table like dark water. He doesn't rush. He doesn't look angry. He looks bored, which is infinitely worse. He walks until he is standing right behind Jae-sung's chair. Jae-sung finally lets go of Nia's arm. He looks up, grinning nervously. "Hey, boss. Just having a little fun with the help. You know how it is. These girls, they need to know their place." Min-jun looks at Nia. He looks at the spot on her arm, where Jae-sung grabbed her. He sees the wrinkle in the fabric. "Give me the tray," Min-jun says. His voice is a low rumble. Nia blinks. She hesitates. "Nia," he says, softer this time. "Give me the tray." She hands it to him. The heavy silver platter, loaded with a fresh bottle of scotch and 2 crystal glasses. Min-jun takes it. He holds it in one hand, balancing it effortlessly. Then, he turns to Jae-sung. He extends the tray toward the seated man. He lowers it, presenting it. "Take it," Min-jun commands. Jae-sung looks confused. He laughs, a short, barking sound. "What? You want a refill, boss? I can get the girl to—" "Take the tray." The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. The other guests shift in their seats. They know what this is. This is a test. Jae-sung's smile falters. He realizes this isn't a joke. His hands are trembling slightly as he reaches out and takes the heavy silver tray from Min-jun. He holds it awkwardly against his chest. "I don't understand," Jae-sung stammers. "What is this?" Min-jun steps back. He gestures to Nia. She is standing there, frozen, her heart pounding in her throat. "Serve her," Min-jun says. 2 words. The room stops spinning. Time suspends. Jae-sung's face goes slack. "Excuse me? You heard me," Min-jun says. His voice is devoid of emotion. It is flat. "You insulted my staff. You touched my staff. In this house, we have manners. You seem to have forgotten yours. So, you will relearn them. Pour her a drink." "She's a servant," Jae-sung sputters, his face turning red. "She's a nobody. I'm not pouring a drink for a—" "You are holding the tray," Min-jun points out. "That makes you the servant. This is the public validation. This is the moment the hierarchy flips. Min-jun isn't just defending her. He is elevating her. He is stripping the status off a powerful man and draping it over the shoulders of the woman who cleans his library. Jae-sung looks around the table. He sees the other men watching. He sees his reputation burning to ash. He stands up, his chair scraping loudly. "This is a joke," Jae-sung snarls. "I'm not doing this." He looks at Nia with pure hatred. "You think you're special? You're trash." He lifts the tray, looking like he's about to throw it. And that is the mistake. Min-jun moves. It happens so fast that if you blinked, you missed the setup. 1 second Min-jun is standing still. The next he has closed the distance. His hand shoots out. He doesn't punch Jae-sung. He grabs Jae-sung's right hand, the hand holding the tray, the hand that threw the glass at the lounge, the hand that grabbed Nia's arm. Min-jun twists. There is no shout, just a sound. Snap. It is the wet, dry crunch of radius and ulna giving way under torque. It is a sickening sound. Jae-sung drops the tray. It crashes to the floor, CLAng silver bouncing off wood. But Jae-sung doesn't hear it. He is staring at his wrist, which is now bent at an angle that anatomy does not allow. Then, the scream comes. A high, thin wail of shock and agony. He falls to his knees. Min-jun doesn't let go of the broken hand. He twists it again, forcing Jae-sung down until his face is pressed against the floor, right next to Nia's shoes. Nia flinches. She steps back, gasping. She covers her mouth. The room is paralyzed. The violence was so precise, so casual. Min-jun leans down. He whispers, but in the silence, everyone hears it. "You broke a glass at her feet," Min-jun says. "Now you break yourself at hers." He releases the hand. Jae-sung curls into a ball, sobbing, cradling his ruined wrist. Min-jun stands up. He straightens his cuffs. He looks at the other men at the table. "Dinner is over," he says. "Get him out of my house." The guards rush in. They drag the weeping Jae-sung out. The guests scramble for the exits, leaving their wine unfinished, leaving their coats. They want to be as far away from Min-jun as possible. And then, it's just the two of them. Min-jun turns to Nia. The adrenaline is crashing through her system. She is shaking so hard her teeth are chattering. He looks at her. He expects. What? Gratitude? A thank you? A swoon? He steps toward her. "Nia," she flinches. A full body recoil. She looks at his hands. The hands that just snapped a man's bone like a dry twig. The hands that were so gentle with her bandage just days ago. She doesn't see a hero. She sees a monster. She sees a man who can inflict violence without blinking. She sees the danger she is living with. "Don't," she whispers. Her voice is broken. "Don't touch me." Min-jun freezes. His hand drops. He thought he was giving her justice. He thought he was balancing the scales. But he forgot who she is. She is a woman who has lived her whole life avoiding violent men. And he just proved he is the most violent of them all. Nia backs away. Her eyes are wide, filled with a terror that hurts him more than any bullet could. She turns and runs. She runs out of the dining room. She runs through the silent halls. She runs until she reaches her room and locks the door. She slides down against the wood, pulling her knees to her chest. She is safe from Jae-sung. But who is going to save her from Min-jun? If you are feeling that conflict, that mix of satisfaction and horror, you are right where we want you, because Min-jun just made a critical error. He showed her his power, but he forgot to show her his heart. And now, he has to earn her trust all over again. This is the complexity of the dark romance. The hero is the villain. The protector is the predator. And Nia? She's trapped in the castle with the dragon. Stay tuned. Because what next isn't about violence. It's about the hardest thing in the world for a man like him. Redemption. The door to Nia's room doesn't just close. It barricades. She throws the deadbolt. Click. She drags the heavy velvet armchair across the floor, the legs screeching against the wood, and shoves it under the handle. Her chest is heaving. Her lungs feel like they are filled with broken glass. You have to understand something about Nia. She grew up in a neighborhood where violence was a language. She knows the sound of a fist hitting drywall. She knows the sound of a siren cutting through the night. She spent her whole life running away from men who use their hands to hurt. She spent her whole life trying to be invisible so that violence would pass her by. And tonight, she was the center of it. She saw Min-jun. She really saw him. Not the quiet man in the library who puts bandages on cuts. Not the rich man who pays off debts. She saw the warlord. She saw the man who can snap a human bone with the same casual indifference as snapping a wishbone. And the terrifying part? He did it for her. Nia grabs her duffel bag from the closet, the same cheap, fraying bag she arrived with. She throws it on the bed. She starts pulling things out of the drawers. Her old t-shirts, her worn-out jeans, the locket with her grandmother's picture. She is shaking so hard she can barely grip the fabric. She has to go. She has to leave. The debt doesn't matter anymore. Prison for her father doesn't matter. She cannot stay in a house where blood is the currency. She cannot be the reason a man gets broken. She stuffs her uniform into the bag. She doesn't fold it. She just wants out. But then, the doorknob turns. It rattles against the lock. Then, silence. Nia freezes. She holds her breath. She stares at the door, clutching her grandmother's locket like a weapon. Nia. His voice comes through the wood. It isn't loud. It isn't a shout. It sounds wrecked. It sounds like gravel grinding together. Go away, she whispers. Then louder, finding her voice. Go away. I'm leaving. Open the door. No, you're crazy. You're a monster. I'm not staying here. I'm not doing this. Silence again. Then, a sound. The sound of a key sliding into the lock. Of course he has a key. It's his house. It's his cage. The lock tumbles. The door pushes open. The heavy armchair slides back across the floor with a groan, useless against his strength. Min-jun steps into the room. He looks terrible. His tie is gone. His collar is open. His hair, usually perfect, is falling over his forehead. But it's his eyes that stop her. They aren't cold anymore. They aren't dead. They are burning. They are wild, frantic, searching the room until they land on her. He sees the bag on the bed. He sees the fear in her eyes. And for a split second, he looks like he's the one who's been hit. You're packing, he says. It's an accusation. I'm done, Nia says. She backs up until her legs hit the edge of the bed. She holds her ground, chin up, even though her knees are water. I signed a contract to organize books. I didn't sign up for that. For breaking people. He hurt you, Min-jun says. He steps forward. He put his hands on you. So you break his wrist? Nia shouts. The tears finally spill over. That's your solution? You destroy him? What happens next time, Min-jun? What happens when I drop a book? What happens when I make a mistake? Do you break me too? Min-jun stops dead. The question hits him like a physical blow. Is that what you think? He asks softly. You think I would touch you? I think you're dangerous, she spits out. I think you enjoy it. Min-jun laughs, but it's a hollow, dark sound. He runs a hand over his face. He looks at the ceiling, then back at her. He closes the distance. He moves fast. Nia gasps, stepping back, but there's nowhere to go. The wall is behind her. He slams his hand against the wall, right next to her head. Bang! She flinches, squeezing her eyes shut, waiting for the strike. But it doesn't come. She feels his heat. He is radiating heat like a furnace. She smells the whiskey on his breath, mixed with that expensive cedar cologne and something metallic, the scent of violence. Look at me, he commands. His voice is a rough whisper. Nia opens her eyes. He is inches from her face. He isn't looking at her like a predator looks at prey. He is looking at her like a drowning man looks at air. I don't enjoy it, he says. The words are dragged out of him. I feel nothing. Do you understand? I feel nothing. I have done things that would make you vomit. I have ordered hits. I have watched empires fall. I have let men kill each other right in front of my salad plate, and my pulse didn't even jump. I am dead inside. Nia, I have been dead for 10 years. He leans in closer. His dark eyes are locked onto hers, pinning her to the spot. But then you walked into the lounge. His voice drops an octave. It becomes intimate, terrifyingly intimate. You dropped a glass. You bled. And for the first time in a decade, I felt something. Rage. Pure, white-hot rage. He takes her hand, the one with the bandage. He lifts it. He presses his forehead against her knuckles. He is trembling. The monster is shaking. I have let men die for less, he whispers into her skin. But when I saw his hand on your arm, when I saw you scared, the only thought in my head was that I wanted to burn the entire city down just to make sure you were the only thing left standing. Nia's breath hitches. The air in the room gets heavy, thick. This is the trope, ladies and gentlemen. This is the touch her and die moment. But it's not played for cheers. It's played for tragedy. He is confessing that he is broken. He is confessing that she is the only thing that makes his wiring work. He is handing her the remote control to his sanity. I didn't break him because of honor, Min-jun says, lifting his head. His gaze drops to her lips. I broke him because he touched what is mine. Mine. The word hangs there. It vibrates in her chest. Nia should be running. Every logical cell in her brain is screaming run. But her heart is betraying her, because for her entire life, she has been common property. She has been the help. She has been the background character. And here is the most powerful man in the city, telling her that she is the center of his universe, that his violence is a shield, and he is holding it over her. She looks up at him. She sees the scar on his wrist. She sees the pain in his eyes. I'm not yours, she whispers. But there is no bite in it. It's weak. It's a question, not a statement. Aren't you? Min-jun breathes. He leans in. The space between them disappears. The tension is electric. It snaps and pops in the air. His hand, the hand on the wall, slides down. It cups her jaw. His thumb brushes her cheekbone. His touch is not violent. It is reverent. It is the touch of a man handling a holy relic. Nia's eyes flutter close. Her body softens. She leans into his hand. She can't help it. She is starved for protection, and he is offering an overdose. His lips hover inches from hers. She can feel his breath, warm, urgent. This is it. The wall is coming down. The contract is burning. The boss and the employee are gone. There is only the man and the woman, and the fire between them. She tilts her head up. He tilts his head down. If you are screaming at your screen right now, if you are feeling that pull in your stomach, that ache for them to just close that final inch, hit that like button, because this is the moment we wait for. This is the moment where everything changes. His lips brush hers, a ghost of a kiss, a promise. And then, way-yoop, way-yoop. The sound rips through the room like a chainsaw. A siren. Loud, piercing. Red lights start flashing in the hallway, bleeding under the doorframe. Min-jun pulls back. Instantly, the lover vanishes. The soldier returns. His eyes go hard. His jaw sets. He looks at the door, then back at her. The vulnerability is gone, locked away behind steel walls in a split second. Code red, he mutters. He grabs her shoulders. His grip is firm. Stay here. Do not open this door for anyone but me. Do you understand? Min-jun? Nia's voice is trembling again. What's happening? He doesn't answer. He reaches into his waistband. He pulls out a gun. A sleek, black pistol that looks terrifyingly natural in his hand. "Lock the door, Nia," he commands. And then he is gone. He sprints into the hallway, toward the danger, leaving her alone in the flashing red light. The almost kiss is cold on her lips. The confession hangs in the air like smoke. Nia stands there, her heart hammering a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She looks at the door. She looks at her packed bag. The reality just crashed back in. She wanted a romance. She got a war zone. And the worst part, she isn't leaving. Not now, because now she knows why he fights. And God help her, she wants to know if he wins. We are just getting started. The emotional bond is forged, but now it's time to test it with fire. The outside world is coming for them, and $42 and a bad attitude won't be enough to survive this night. You know that feeling when the roller coaster reaches the very top? That split second of weightlessness before the drop? That is where we are, right now. But this isn't an amusement park, and nobody is strapped in safely. The siren that cut off that almost kiss wasn't just a noise, it was a declaration of war. Min-jun ran out that door, and for a solid 3 minutes, Nia stood there in the flashing red light. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. It was the kind of silence that holds its breath before it screams. She hears a sound from the floor below. It isn't the distinctive pop of a champagne cork. It's the dry, cracking sound of gunfire. Pop, pop. Then, the screaming starts. Nia grabs her bag. The instinct to flee is overwhelming. She runs to the window. She looks down into the courtyard, the same one she walked through just days ago to enter this fortress. It's crawling with men. But they aren't security. They aren't police. They are wearing mismatched tactical gear. They are moving with purpose. And leading them, holding his broken wrist against his chest with a makeshift splint, is Jae-sung. The reality hits Nia like a bucket of ice water. This wasn't just a dinner party gone wrong. This was a setup. The broken wrist didn't cause the war. It just started the clock a few minutes early. The friends at the table? They didn't leave because they were offended. They left to get their guns. They were waiting for Min-jun to slip. They were waiting for him to show a weakness. And tonight, for the first time in 10 years, he did. He showed them her. The door to her bedroom flies open. Nia spins around, clutching the heavy brass lamp from the bedside table. She is ready to swing. She is ready to fight. It's Min-jun. He looks nothing like the man who almost kissed her 5 minutes ago. His white shirt is soaked in red, and it's not wine. There is a cut above his eyebrow that is bleeding freely, blinding him in one eye. He is holding a submachine gun in one hand and a keycard in the other. He doesn't look at the lamp. He looks at her. "Move!" he barks. He doesn't wait. He grabs her hand. His grip is wet with blood, but it is iron strong. He yanks her into the hallway. "Where are we going?" Nia screams over the sound of the alarm. "Out," Min-jun says. "The perimeter is breached. The gate is compromised. We have to get to the extraction point." They run. The mansion is a maze of shadows and flashing red strobe lights. Every corner looks the same. Every shadow looks like a killer. Nia is stumbling, her sneakers squeaking on the polished concrete. Min-jun is moving with terrifying efficiency. He checks corners. He clears rooms. He is in his element. This is the soldier she saw in the scar on his wrist. They turn a sharp corner toward the west wing, and there he is. Standing at the end of the hallway is the head of security, a man named Tanaka, a man Nia has seen Min-jun share coffee with, a man Min-jun trusts with his life. Tanaka is holding a shotgun. Min-jun slows down. He lowers his weapon slightly. "Tanaka," he says, breathing hard. "The south exit. Is it clear?" Tanaka looks at Min-jun. Then he looks at Nia. It's clear, boss, Tanaka says. Then he raises the shotgun, aimed right at Min-jun's chest. But you're not going through it. The betrayal is quiet. It doesn't need shouting. It's just business. Jae-sung pays better, Tanaka says, his finger tightening on the trigger. And he promised he wouldn't break my wrist if I messed up. Min-jun doesn't look surprised. He doesn't look hurt. He looks resigned. Like he expected this. Like he knows that in his world, loyalty is just a line item on a budget, and someone else just outbid him. I paid for your mother's surgery, Min-jun says calmly. She died anyway, Tanaka replies. He fires. Boom. The sound in the enclosed hallway is deafening. Plaster explodes from the wall right next to Nia's head. She screams, dropping to the floor. Min-jun didn't wait for the conversation to end. He moved the second he saw Tanaka's eyes shift. He dives, rolling across the floor. He comes up on one knee. He fires 2 shots. Precise, controlled. Tanaka drops. The silence rushes back in, ringing in Nia's ears. She stares at the body of the man who was supposed to protect them. Min-jun stands up. He doesn't look at his dead friend. He walks over to Nia and pulls her up. Can you run? He asks. Nia nods. She can't speak. She is shaking so hard her bones feel loose. Good, because we are out of time. He drags her toward a painting at the end of the hall. It's a massive abstract piece, all chaotic blacks and reds. He rips the frame off the wall. Behind it is a steel panel. He scans his thumb. He types a code. The wall hisses. It slides open. Inside, there is a narrow, dimly lit passage. It smells like stale air and oil. The panic room? Nia gasps. Better, Min-jun says. The escape chute. Pneumatic tube system. It leads to a sub-basement bunker, 3 miles from here. It's the only way out. He pushes her inside. The space is small, cramped. It's a metal capsule, barely big enough for 2 people to stand close. Min-jun hits a button on the wall. The heavy steel door begins to slide shut. Nia leans back against the wall of the capsule, trying to catch her breath. Okay, she pants. Okay. We go down. We call the police. She stops. She looks at Min-jun. He isn't in the capsule. He is standing in the hallway, on the other side of the closing door. Nia's eyes go wide. Min-jun? He is punching a code into the external keypad, the lockout code. What are you doing? Nia screams. She lunges forward. Get in! There's room! We can fit! Min-jun looks at her. The door is halfway closed. It's a single occupancy transport, he says. His voice is calm. Eerily calm. It wasn't built for 2. If we both get in, the air supply fails before we hit the bottom, or the weight triggers the safety brakes and we get stuck in the shaft. No! Nia slams her hands against the metal door. No! I'm not leaving you. You can't stay here. They are coming, Nia, he says. You can hear them. And she can. The footsteps are getting louder. Heavy boots on concrete. Shouting. They are close. Maybe 30 seconds away. I don't care. Nia is sobbing now. The tears are hot on her face. Open the door. I won't go. I won't leave you to die. The door is almost shut. There is only a foot of space left. Min-jun steps closer. He puts his hand on the metal, right where her hand is on the other side. You have to go, he says. You have a sister. Remember? Maya. She needs her insulin. She needs you. He remembers. In the middle of a war, with a gun in his hand, and death coming down the hall, he remembers her sister's name. Nia freezes. The logic hits her. The love hits her. Why? She whispers. Why are you doing this? I'm just a waitress. I owe you money. The door is inches from closing. Min-jun looks at her. The blood is dripping down his temple, staining his collar. He looks exhausted. He looks broken. But then, He does something he hasn't done the entire time she has known him. He smiles. It isn't a shark smile. It isn't a cruel smirk. It is a genuine, soft, heartbreaking smile. It reaches his eyes. It makes him look 10 years younger. It makes him look human. "You don't owe me anything," he says. The door clicks. The seal engages. Nia is trapped behind a thick layer of bulletproof glass. She can see him, but she can't hear him anymore. The sound is cut off instantly. She is screaming his name. She is pounding on the glass until her fists bruise. Min-jun! Min-jun! Inside the capsule, it is silent. Outside, in the hallway, Min-jun turns away from the door. He checks the magazine in his gun. Empty. He tosses it aside. He pulls a fresh one from his belt. His last one. He hears them turning the corner. He sees the shadows of the tactical team stretching across the floor. There are at least 10 of them. He takes a deep breath. He adjusts his cuffs. He stands up straight. He turns back to the glass one last time. Nia is weeping, her forehead pressed against the window, her hands splayed out on the glass. She is watching him. She is witnessing him. He looks her in the eye. He raises his bloodied hand. He presses one finger to his lips. Shh. It's a command. It's a comfort. It's a goodbye. Then he turns his back on her. He faces the hallway. He raises the gun. The first soldier rounds the corner. Min-jun doesn't flinch. He doesn't hesitate. He walks forward, toward the bullets, toward the fire. The muzzle flash lights up the hallway. Bright, blinding. Bang, bang. The sound vibrates through the glass. Dull and heavy. Nia screams one last time. A silent wail that tears her throat apart. And then the transport mechanism engages. The floor drops out from under her. The capsule plummets into the dark. The last thing she sees is Min-jun's silhouette, standing tall in a hail of gunfire, defending the empty space where she used to be. Then, blackness. He gave her the only safe place in a burning house. He paid her debt with his life. But here is the thing about ghosts, especially ghosts like Min-jun. They don't die easy. They haunt. Or maybe, just maybe, he didn't die at all. We are left with the question that is going to keep you up tonight. Did he save her because he loves her? Or did he save her because she is the only one carrying the secrets that can destroy his enemies? The capsule is going down. The house is burning up. And Nia is alone in the dark with a broken heart and a war to finish. If you are shaking, if you are crying, if you need to know what happens when that capsule hits the bottom, tell me in the comments right now. Type Episode 2 if you want to see Nia rise from the ashes and burn them all down. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because the romance is over, the revenge is just beginning.